This is 22 video game secrets that will make you feel stupid. If there's one series that's guaranteed to make a fool of you, it's got to be Metal Gear Solid. Hideo Kojima's famous stealth games are well known for making their fans feel like complete idiots whenever they get the chance, but the Phantom Pain does it in such a hilarious way. If you visit Mother Base during your playthrough, you can find signs that warn you about ongoing construction. If you decide to ignore these though, you're gonna end up looking a little bit stupid. Even that's not as embarrassing as getting roasted by Resident Evil 4's merchant. Going up against Las Plagas in the insane survival horror can be pretty rough at times, but of course there's many ways that you can even the odds. If you visit the merchant, you can buy all sorts of weapons to take down your enemies, one of them being the famous rocket launcher. If you decide to go down this route though, the dude selling it is gonna give you some advice.
Not my place to say really, but sometimes things are more interesting if you keep a level playing field. Don't you find?
Shut up, man!
If you're really looking to be humiliated though, Crash Bandicoot has got you covered. In the original version of the game, many players decided to cheese the Tiny Tiger boss fight by standing in a particular spot so they couldn't even be hit. But if you thought about doing this in the Insane Trilogy remake, the devs weren't going to let you get away with it without calling you out. Because if you stand in the well-known spot, sure it'll work, but the Coliseum audience will start throwing pieces of cheese at you to let you know what a loser you are. As for games that insult you, none do it better than High on Life. The hilarious FPS tears apart its fans at every opportunity, including making you look stupid for trying to speedrun. But it takes it to the next level if you decide to do something simple like pause the game. Kenny isn't going to take it lying down and you're not going to like it.
What the f***? You just paused the game. This doesn't help at all. Are you an idiot? Everyone knows pause button. In what game is the pause button shoot?
It's not the only game that fancies being rude to you though, as Neon White makes you look like a total chump. In the Elevator side mission, it's your job to smash through the floors as fast as possible and make it to the exit. If you get a little bit overexcited though, there's a chance you can smash too far and go right past the finish and end up here. Idiot Island, and if you don't feel stupid now, you definitely should. At least this was fast though. In Breath of the Wild, you're left looking foolish after the longest quest of all time. The 2017 Game of the Year tasked players with collecting 900 Korok seeds, which of course takes forever, with some players spending hundreds of hours on getting the job done. And with it taking so long, fans of course expected an amazing reward for their hard work, but not so much. When players visited Hestu to collect their prize, they were left looking pretty silly when he presented them with this. A golden turd. Now that is a slap in the face. It's nearly as bad as South Park roasting you for just playing the game. In the Fractured But Whole, you need to get into Cartman's secret basement, which means you need to find the code and enter it in the keypad. If you're on your second playthrough though, you'll of course already know it, so why waste time searching again when you can just get in there straight away? Well, the devs already thought of this and it's gonna leave you feeling pretty bad.
Hey, Tom Brady, you want to play the game or do you just want to be known as a smug cheating the rest of your life?
Don't worry though, because Modern Warfare has a special treat for you. It's just not what you were expecting. Because on the Isle 9 map, if you spend some time shooting numerous teddy bears, you'll be gifted a pretty crazy surprise when the back of this truck bursts open. You might have been expecting an OP weapon or something even better, but no, because you'll find the last toilet roll. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but it feels like a bit of an insult. Evil West is on another level though, because when it trolled players, it made it personal. In one level of the game, you're going to have to deal with a serious number of spiders, and to help people out with arachnophobia, the devs included a special setting. You have the option to turn off spiders completely, making things way easier for these folks. If you change your mind though, you're gonna regret it. Because anyone who decided to go back to the normal settings would be completely terrified, as they'd end up with thousands more creepy crawlies than they even had to begin with. I think I'd prefer that though to being torn apart by my own weapon in Borderlands 2. Every fan knows that the series is full of brilliant guns, some overpowered and some just downright hilarious. But the Morningstar Sniper is something that most players will never forget. It's not every day that your own weapon completely roasts you.
If you were a better shot, you wouldn't need to reload. An unproven who can't afford ammo, you know.
Fallout 76 is even harder on you when it tricks you into uncovering its rudest Easter egg. With a world as big as the Fallout universe, it's fair to say that it's full of secrets. I'm fairly sure none are as harsh as this one though. Because if you manage to find this door, be careful, because on the other side is, yeah, anyway. At least that's not a famous celebrity making you feel stupid, as Spider-Man 2002's narrator trolls you whenever he gets the chance. It doesn't take long either, as right at the start of the game, the well-known Bruce Campbell makes you feel like a complete clown. If you're already a web-slinging expert, you'll probably just skip the tutorial. Be careful though, because Bruce doesn't like his time being wasted.
Of course, you'd know this if you played the basic tutorial, but I guess you're just cooler than the rest of us.
But that's probably not as bad as a game calling you a total scumbag for your whole playthrough. In Link's Awakening, if you can't afford to buy something from one of the shops, you can just choose to full-on steal it. The shopkeeper will warn you not to do this, but if you just completely ignore him, you'll never forget what happens next. Because your in-game name will be permanently changed to Thief just to remind you of your terrible behaviour. Even worse, if you return to the guy's shop, he'll straight up delete you with a lightning bolt. Silent Hill 3 has a hilarious secret that you'll wish you could delete from your memory. One of the most well-known cheats in gaming is of course the Konami code, and it's famous for producing some pretty awesome results. If you enter it in Silent Hill 3 though, you'll be in for a shock as it strips Detective Douglas down to his underwear. And now you'll have to sit through some fairly serious scenes with a guy in his boxer shorts. And if that doesn't make you feel stupid, then Death Stranding certainly will, particularly if your personal hygiene is terrible. Hideo Kojima's at it once again in this very unique game, and main character Sam really needs a favour from you. If you have him constantly working and delivering packages all across the dangerous world, he's obviously gonna get pretty sweaty. The poor guy's definitely gonna need a shower, and if you won't let him, he'll literally sit there and beg you to let him have a wash. You should be ashamed of yourself. Just like you will be in Metal Gear Solid 5 if you're a complete noob. When taking on its open world, it can be tough to find the best ways to wipe out enemies. If you really struggle though, the game will give you an easy way out, but it comes at a cost. If you die too many times, you can choose to equip the chicken hat, which will make you nearly invisible to soldiers, but you'll look like a total idiot. I think I'd rather deal with the constant game overs. A game over you should have seen coming can be found in Fahrenheit if you completely ignore what the game tells you. During your playthrough, you're specifically told, just like the real world, to not mix painkillers with alcohol, and yet for some stupid reason, players decided that they knew better and were left looking like total clowns.
And that's the end of my story. I mixed alcohol and medication and I lost consciousness.
High on Life players ended up looking even more dumb when they wasted hours of their life for nothing. During one mission, your bounty Douglas tells you to sit and wait for 1 full hour in order to complete a training exercise. Most players quickly realised that you can find a secret way out of the room, which they swiftly took. Others, however, thought that by sticking around they'd unlock something awesome. The devs had different plans though, and decided that Douglas was going to roast them for being too trusting.
Okay, good work. You waited an hour. Whoop-de-doo. Hope you and your ass got some enjoyment out of that.
It's not the only game that you definitely shouldn't trust though, as Saints Row 4 will lie right to your face. In the game's Christmas-themed DLC, you can come across a huge door that players wanted to get access to, but annoyingly it was blocked by some massive candy canes. Players are repeatedly told to lick the sweet treats in order to get through them so they can open the door, and let me tell you, this takes a long time, so surely it would be worth it, right? Well, not quite, because after spending what felt like forever, players finally managed it, only to find out the door itself was locked. It was all one big joke. Sometimes though, video game pranks are a lot more simple, and World War Z played a joke on players in a classic way. Because eagle-eyed fans who took a break from the zombie slaying noticed a weird looking QR code, and of course if you find one of those things you're gonna scan it. And it took them to a pretty well known video. People are still being rickrolled 12 years after the original. It's absolute madness. And if there's anyone who knows a thing or two about trolling, it's the narrator in the Stanley Parable. Because that guy hates cheaters, and he's gonna let you know exactly how he feels, because anyone that tried to hack in this mind-bending game would end up in the serious room.
Stanley, this is me being serious. In fact, this is my serious room. You just tried to activate server cheats. You've got no respect for the strict order of scripted narrative events, and I just can't have that.
But Dying Light fans stumbled upon something even more serious than that when they made a shocking discovery. If you take on a side quest for Rupert, you'll get access to an apartment building containing a pink teddy bear. If you interact with it, the bear tells you to leave it alone, and I'm thinking maybe you should listen, or you'll probably end up feeling a little bit stupid. And that was 22 video game secrets that will make you feel stupid. Don't forget to subscribe to the Endgame and have an incredible day.